each surge introduces another element, and there's a feel each time of someone bursting through the swing doors of an old saloon in a western, and the doors are still swinging in your head many beats later. I really liked it. That's the
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another Friday viewer request installment here at the Audiophiles. We are going to dig into a tune offered up by one of you out there in the audience, as the name would imply, right? This actually is a band that I am very familiar with. We have done one track of theirs on this channel very early on when we started. The band is Cage the Elephant. Do you recall giving them a listen, John?
yes, it was. It was a while ago, wasn't it? It was one of the first ones, I think.
Yes,
So
it
it'd be a
was.
year or so ago. God, it feels like 5 years. In a nice way. In a nice way. But it does feel because we've done so much.
Yeah.
That it
Approaching
feels like
300.
such a long time ago. That's
Yeah.
there you go.
Yep. This it actually comes from Nathan Vanderbij. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. 1459. And this actually, despite us having done a modest, or not Modest Mouse, a Cage the Elephant track on this channel, it didn't come suggested on that video. It came suggested on the Deer Hunter Lillian video that we did some time ago. And this particular track is called Shake Me Down.
Fair enough. And just as a matter of interest, I looked up because obviously we discussed beforehand which tracks to do. So just as a bit of fun, I looked up what happened in the year 1459.
Okay.
Not a lot. So yeah, I mean, War of the Roses, that was about it. Which okay, I guess was enough for a lot of people, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that checks out. Well, fair enough. You know the track, you know the artist, and you know the suggester out there in the audience who gave it to us. Go off, give it a listen, and come back and let me and Nathan and the rest of the gang know what you make of it.
Will do.
Shake me down. Not a lot of people left around. Who knows now? Softly laying on the ground. Oh, not a lot of people left around. Oh, oh. In my life, I've seen people walk into the sea just to find memories plagued by constant misery. Their eyes cast down, fixed upon the ground. Their eyes cast down. I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Shake me down. Cut my hair on a silver cloud, a broken sound, softly laying on the ground. Not a lot of people left around.
Interesting start. I like the sort of chiming guitar. They're doing a lot of dynamics, and it's just coming in at a burst. You feel like they're bursting through the doors, and it's still like the old saloon doors in the Western. They're still rattling when they leave. A really filthy bass sound there, which is great. I do like what the percussion, the drums are doing. Those like some odd rim shotty type sound noises there as well. Um, and there's one we finished with, which almost sounded like a gunshot at the end. So really interesting stuff. If I'm 100% honest, I'm still not sold on the voice, but it's not terrible either. Just doesn't grab me. Okay, see how it goes.
In my past, bittersweet. Found no love between the sheets. Take the blood, broken dreams. Lonely times indeed. With eyes cast down. Fixed upon the ground. With eyes cast down. I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Turn back, now it's time for me to let go. Way down, had to find a place to lay low. Lampshade, turn the matter to a light pole. Walk around the corner, never suddenly come and
Just want to see how it went from there. That was really nice. Just take it back. It almost becomes a different song. It's a short song. Let's take it back a bit. You got this dynamics coming in, going out. You know, it's interesting, and then it hits full blast, and that sound. It's almost like what bands were doing in the 90s. The sort of indie sound that was semi-influenced by grunge. There was a bit of heaviness to it. I really like the high guitars there. They're going down, down. Really nice. Yeah, it reminds me of somebody musically.
I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Turn back, now it's time for me to let go. Way down, had to find a place to lay low. Lampshade, turn the matter to a light pole. Walk around the corner, never suddenly come and stare. I try to make a move, it almost stopped me from believing. I don't wanna know the future. I'm like rolling thunder. Even on a cloudy day, even on a cloudy day, even on a cloudy day, even on a cloudy day. Shake me down, not a lot of people left around. Oh, oh.
That was a lot of fun, actually. I don't know if the song really knew its own identity. It sort of changed in thrust, and the sound of it, the feel of it, um, throughout parts, which I actually really enjoyed. I love the bit where they're going full throttle and then suddenly cut to this clearer sound, and he's singing even on a cloudy day, which obviously contrasts the sound. That was really nice. And then when they kicked back in, I don't know if they did before, but I could hear them the sort of like backing vocals again. It's lifted it. This lovely mixture of a bit of loud, quiet, um, bit of sort of indie sound going into that rougher indie sound, almost a little bit sort of Brit poppy in places as well. It was very catchy as well. Just more hooks than a fishing tackle shop. Um, yeah, Really enjoyable, actually. Um, it's hard to get a handle on it, but yeah, it was fun, definitely. Right, let's go back to Andy and see what he says.
All right. So you've returned, and
Mhm.
what'd you make of this? I assume your second listen to a Cage the Elephant
Yeah,
track. All right.
yeah. And it's one of the, well, I think we said before, Cage Element's a name I know, but not listened to much of their stuff. Um, so this was an interesting recommendation by Nathan, 1 minute to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, so this was different to the track you offered me, as I remember. That was more of a sort of jaunty roller disco number.
Yeah.
And this one was very interesting for many reasons. Um, so it starts off with this guitar, and it's got like a kind of a seesaw rhythm. And actually, it dawned on me that I don't know if it's two guitars because there's one doing that and one what the one's got a like a slight reverb sort of tick tock to it, and the other one's slightly different tones, just picking notes. Um, and one's sort of central-ish channel, the other one's kind of more right channel. Well, and then the singer starts as well, singing "Shake Me Down," and he sort of repeats the line, "Not a lot of people are left around," and there's some elongated ooze. All of this together kind of lulls you into this almost circular pattern. That's where the songs go. And there's some mention of laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the first of what will be many volleys, an opening cannon burst from the drums and the guitar, which, the old jump shot from a horror, but it's there and I really liked it. And it introduces from that this gnarly, dirty bass that sounds so good. And the seesaw guitar kind of finds another axis and he's sort of going from a different angle and it feels a bit more strident. And the singer's voice is also less dreamy and a bit more purposeful. So you get this development. But that's only for like 10, 12 seconds. And then we have a second outburst with a full complement of drums this time as he sings, "I Keep My Eyes Fixed on the Sun." And that ends with this lovely little thump from the drummer. The sound sounds almost like a hollow gunshot that I can only assume came from an abandoned cabin in the woods. This noise, it's really nice. I mean, it's only like half a second, but I just really liked it. There's another quick fire volley, and it introduces this from there a sort of reverberated sort of rim shot sort of wooden block sound that may have been recorded in an empty swimming pool. I'm not sure, but again, it sounds great and it's something a bit different. So each time we have these little transitions that introduce something else, and I think the dynamics, mostly, I have to say, led by the drummer, are the star of the show for me. Each surge introduces another element, and has a feel each time of someone bursting through the swing doors of an old saloon in a western, and the doors are still swinging in your head many beats later. I really liked it. That's the image I got. So next we have like this fervent guitar strumming alongside the staccato beats from the drummer, and this is, right in my wheelhouse. This is great stuff. And there's also this faint sort of high-pitched guitar doing some accents. And then there's this lovely, again, this is only like a tiny touch. It happens later in the song, but there's this huge chord from one of the guitars that reverberates like a fucking dinner gong, and it's just like the end of this phrase. And I just like touches like that. I really, really liked. And then there's another identity switch as the singer starts to sort of speed up his cadence, and the chords resemble almost like heavy Britpop here. And it's getting quite sort of bouncy stroke catchy. And then back into this sort of Joey Santiago Pixies accents that are more prominent now, picking out the parts. Naturally, I bloody loved it. So I pulled that back and listened to it again. Um, and we're into sort of like heavy indie rock from the early 90s. That reminds me of two or three sort of different bands. And it all pulls together with additional howls and swirls and let's get into that sort of noisy rock territory, which I absolutely adore. So, of course, switcheroo time once more. Complete sort of focus pull into a pocket of calm. And I love the fact that he then sings the words "even on a cloudy day," which is complete contrast to this moment of clarity. He's referring to a cloudy day. I love that touch. That was just, it's really, and obviously the contrast made it really stand out. So that's great. And so the beat builds back up, and now it has added rising sort of choral background as well to it, and it's almost getting a bit sort of anthemic here as well. And then, of course, we have this sort of bookend of the chiming guitar and the wistful vocals taking us out, just like at the start. Those lines were the only lines I caught, but he repeated a lot of phrases, which was a part of its charm, I think. This was a lot of fun, and it was a bit of a journey through some different styles. I think that's in the reaction. It was almost like an not identity crisis, but they were switching things around, which made it, I think, very interesting for me. The repetitive lyrics and the guitar parts were very, very catchy. I think I said the reaction had more hooks than a fishing tackle shop. I'm still not sold on the vocals, but we'll gloss over that. There were lots to enjoy here, and I found it a really interesting and almost captivating song, actually, because of the various bits, and something that would definitely earn repeat viewing. So this is a great recommendation, I thought.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite Cage the Elephant tunes, and awesome for Nathan for offering it up. Shame on me for not having brought some more Cage the Elephant to the channel since way back when. And maybe this is an indication that I probably should. Their first 3 albums are really, really great albums. I love them. And that's not to say that their subsequent, I believe, 3 aren't good. They just took their sound to an area that I like a lot, but don't love as much as I love the sound that they were tapping into in the first 3. So I'd happily listen to their later stuff. No questions asked. I'd go see them tomorrow if they were around here. But when they were touring around their sort of 2000, I guess maybe like 6 or 8 to 11 or 13, somewhere in there, the stuff they were putting out was really good. And you're right, there is sort of this compilation of influences to the sound in this song, where it's like, we really love bands from this era, and we like this subgenre, and you start to get a little feel of it as
but they're just slightly different. They're not massively, it's not like jazz funk and polka, and
so it's jarring.
They're all really close to each other. Almost.
They find a way to quilt it all together to make a really nice tapestry. I'm really glad you like this one. It doesn't come to as much of a surprise to me that you would, but it does come as a delight, because I'm really glad you liked it. Excellent shout, Nathan. I'll get into the band a little bit. We'll touch on a little bit about them, but a lot of the stuff about these guys is going to be covered on that last episode, which I will put down in the description, so you guys can go check that out as well. But quick recap of the band. Cage the Elephant, American rock band, formed 2006 in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They moved to England and settled in London in 2008, shortly before their self-titled first album was released. The band currently consists of Matt Schultz on vocals, his older brother Brad Schultz on rhythm guitar, Nick Bockrath on lead guitar, Mathin Minister, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, on guitars and keyboards, Danielle Tishanor on bass, and Jared Champion on drums. And the band's name, according to lead singer Matt Schultz, came from an incident in 2006 when a mentally disturbed man approached the band after a show. He hugged Schultz and kept repeating the sentence, "You have to cage the elephant," over and over again. And look, if that's not an omen, that's a great, you better take your band name from that situation. You know what I mean? It's too weird and ominous not to. So that's off to them.
It could have been a lot worse.
He could.
Put your hand in my pocket.
Exactly. Or much weirder shit than that, right? So, their sound has been described as, and again, as I alluded to earlier, they tap into different sounds, and even as you observed just in this one song. So over albums, they kind of change their sound. So they've been described as a lot of things. Alt rock, indie rock, psychedelic rock, garage rock, punk blues, and post punk are some of those genres they've been described as sounding like or fitting into. The band has released 6 studio albums, and this track particular comes off of their second one, which was titled "Thank You, Happy Birthday." That was released in 2011, which and in the we previously covered the song was "Take It or Leave It," and that came off Melophobia, which is the album subsequent to this. So that was their third. This is their second album, and as I mentioned a moment ago, their first was self-titled. The album sold 39,000 copies during its first week in the US, debuting at number 2 on the Billboard 200, and was very much well received by critics. They spent the year of the because it was released in like January, so they spent the entire year doing the late night TV circuit, Leno, Letterman, all that over here. They did festivals like Coachella and Glastonbury over there. And they toured with the Foo Fighters as their opening act. And interesting little anecdote, in October, during during their tour with the Foo Fighters, Jared Champion, their drummer's appendix burst just completely, requiring immediate medical attention. So Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters stepped in and played drums for Champion while he was out. And hey, hell of a stand-in, right? One of the greats. And just what a cool dude, you know what I mean? To just be like, oh, I got to pull double duty, and I'm sort of the face of this whole tour, and like that's just classic Grohl. He's such a good dude. And after the tour with the Foo Fighters, they went on to tour with Manchester Orchestra, and I actually have the poster framed upstairs, much to my girlfriend's chagrin. I have a lot of these like tour posters from shows that I've gone to and stuff that I framed. Almost like you with your records, but not nearly as much. I haven't gone to that many shows, but it's the Cage the Elephant Manchester Orchestra sort of playbill poster, and I love that so much because I love both those bands. And the group's audience expanded wildly throughout 2011 after the second album. And although they formed, as I mentioned, early in the 2000s, the band earned the top spot in Rolling Stone's Readers' Poll, the best new artist of 2011. The magazine also named Thank You, Happy Birthday as the 15th best album of that year. Metacritic currently gives it a 76 out of 100 based on 22 critics' reviews. Alternative Press stated that the record was an alarmingly good album, which is kind of like an comment, like you had like lower expectations. Sorry, we didn't mean to alarm you with our goodness. The New York Times added that the new album is more abrasive, rowdier, more unstable, and pushier in the right ways. Jody Rosen of Rolling Stone said of lead singer Matt Schultz, "Schultz coos, all I got is nothing but a little bit of love." He's got another thing. Actually, one of the best young rock bands around. So interesting and nice accolades there from Rolling Stone. The band's hit song "Shake Me Down" was nominated for an MTV Video Music Award for Best Rock Video in September 2011. Now, the lyrics. Shake me down, not a lot of people left around. Who knows now? Softly laying on the ground. Oh, not a lot of people left around. Oh. In my life, I have seen people walk into the sea just to find memories, plagued by constant misery, their eyes cast down, fixed upon the ground, their eyes cast down. I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Shake me down, cut my head on a silver cloud, broken sound, softly laying on the ground. Oh, not a lot of people left around. Oh. In my past, bittersweet, there's no love between the sheets. Taste the blood, broken dreams, lonely times indeed, with eyes cast down, fixed upon the ground, with eyes cast down. I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Turn back now, it's time for me to let go. Way down, had to find a place to lay low. Lampshade turned around into a light post. Walk around the corner, never saw it coming. Still, I tried to make a move. It almost stopped me from believing. I don't want to know the future. I'm like rolling thunder, even on a cloudy day. And it repeats, even on a cloudy day, several more times. Chorus, I'll keep my eyes fixed on the, I'll keep my eyes fixed on the, I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Shake me down. Not a lot of people left around. Oh. And this is actually about Schultz coming to terms with all the people he grew up with, like whether it was in his street, in his high school, in the music and the band scene, and the routes they ended up taking. And it's this he's using the song to make it clear that he will always want to follow the music, or with his eyes fixed on that goal, or for the sake of the metaphor, the sun, which is, you know, his music and his art, and he'll keep doing his thing. But I guess lamenting lost relationships or divergent paths that he went from other people. And yeah, it's a really great song. I love it a lot. It's not a big surprise, probably, that this was their biggest hit on that album that they put out, their sophomore effort. So thank you for giving it a listen. And Nathan, thank you for offering it up. It's a great song and a perfect excuse to offer it up to John.
And the Beatles reference, I'll follow the sun.
Yes, there you go. It's hard not to get a Beatles reference either through music or lyrics or anything in rock and roll. They are omnipresent, rightfully so. Thank you so much for giving us a listen, John. Nathan,
my pleasure.
Yeah, I thought you'd like this. Nathan, again, one more shot. Really appreciate you, man. This is a great tune. Guys out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of this track by Cage the Elephant. If there's other stuff we should be checking out by them, I know there is. But if there's stuff that you specifically want to see, pop it down in the comment field, and we'll be sure to add it to our ever-growing list so we can maybe check it out on a future Friday. All that out of the way, maybe think about liking, sharing, and subscribing. Definitely the former two, please. If you're new or you've been around here for some time, feel free to do that. If you're new, though, hit that subscribe. We'd really love to see you join the army here at the Audiophiles. And hopefully John and I will see all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.